Peaceful greetings, everyone, and welcome to Words That Inspire by Chizaba, a space where my goal is always to motivate, to inspire, to encourage, and to uplift. I hope the past week has been a great one for you, and I am praying that this last week in the month of January is an awesome one for you. So today, I have a book review. I got the chance to read another wonderful book, and I just had to share, and it's by Joyce Meyer, In Search of Wisdom, Life-Changing Truths in the Book of Proverbs. It is an amazing book because it's based on the book of Proverbs. Each chapter is dedicated to one chapter. Each chapter in the book is dedicated to one chapter in the book of Proverbs. But what it does is it goes through and pulls out the wisdom or the advice, practical wisdom and advice that we can apply to our lives today, and it states it in terms that make sense to us. So for example, my favorite chapter in the book is chapter 6, which is based on Proverbs 6, and it starts out with don't co-sign for someone else's debt. That's the one of the lessons in Proverbs 6, and that lesson is drawn from Proverbs 6 1 to 5. Do not co-sign for someone else's debt. Now, anybody out there who watches Judge Judy as borderline obsessively as I do, or even on a normal basis, you must have heard her say this over and over again. Do not co-sign for someone else's debt, even if they're family. Because regardless, oftentimes people you co-sign for someone else's debt and they see it as an opportunity to skip out on their debt, because what co-signing means is you are saying to the lender, if this person doesn't make good on their debt, I will take it over and it now becomes my debt. So whether it's an apartment, a car, a loan, a whatever, when you're co-signing for someone, let's say you're co-signing for me, what we are saying to whoever is lending the money or whoever I'm trying to get something from is, or if Chizaba doesn't pay her debt, if she's unable to pay it, or she misses a payment, or she skips out on it, it becomes my burden as well. I am saying that if she doesn't fulfill her end of the bargain, I will fulfill it. It becomes my debt. It becomes your debt as well. So let's say you've co-signed for someone, even family. There are a lot of people who you co-sign for them and they don't even bother to try. They just don't pay because they skip out on it, and now it becomes a burden. You're the responsible one with the good credit score, so of course you try to make good on the payment. And then there are some people who really, they make a good faith effort to pay and stuff happens and it just doesn't work out. Either way, it still becomes your debt, regardless of the reason why they can no longer make payments or fulfill their debt obligations. It now becomes your debt as well. So if you don't have the money to pay for it, now you're burdened, you have an extra financial burden. And if you're unable to pay for it, or if they have missed out on payments you didn't know about, it now affects your credit score. And when you yourself go to get a loan or get a credit card, it affects the interest rates you get, and so on and so forth. And so on Judge Judy, on case after case, I've heard her say it over and over again. If you do not have the money to give the person to fulfill their debt obligation, don't co-sign for them, because that's pretty much the same thing. Why co-sign and run the risk of having that debt become yours when you can either not afford it, or the damage to your own credit report is not something that can be fixed? So that is the lesson, one of the lessons in Proverbs 6 1 to 5. That's the lesson there. Don't co-sign for someone else's debt. So like it says in most cases, co-signing for a loan is not wise. At the very least, we should never become security for another person's debt unless we know we could pay the debt in full if we had to. Don't go co-signing for a $10,000 loan when, if something happens and they come back to you, you cannot afford to pay $10,000. In fact, if you can afford to co-sign on someone on a if you can afford $10,000, it is much better for you to give it to whoever you're trying to co-sign for than to co-sign on the loan for them. So that's the lesson there. The Proverbs recommends not obligating ourselves to others financially. But if one person has already become security for another person's debt, Proverbs says that one should work to the point of exhaustion to be free from the pledge. God doesn't want us to carry the stress of making sure other people pay their debts when we have enough to do managing our own finances. A preach, you know? So isn't it amazing that the book of Proverbs, which sometimes can be too wordy for a lot of people to read, but I love to read it. But it has such practical advice we can apply to today. And it's true. I don't know about you, but I have more than enough stress managing my own stuff. Why add someone else's burden to it? If it's someone you love and you cherish, they are in debt, they need help, you give them the little you can, or help them find resources, or help them find someone who can help them. But if you know you cannot afford that debt, you cannot afford to pay it in full, why add it to your own burden? Okay, another chapter that I enjoyed reading was chapter 15 for Proverbs 15. And verse 4, the lesson there was about words that uplift and bring comfort. So verse 4, the soothing tongue is a tree of life, but a perverse tongue crushes the spirit. Why I love it is the same thing I say it over and over again, that there is power in words. There is power of life and death. What you say can bring life or progress or positivity into your life, or it can suck out positive energy and bring negativity into your life. The same thing happens when we speak to other people. You can either speak words that enrich a person, that nourish a person spiritually, that encourages, or you can speak words that crushes people. You can kill somebody with the words you say. You can demoralize somebody to the point of deep depression if you are not careful with the words you speak. And so it's very important that we watch what we say and also take stock of those around us. If you have somebody you're always talking to, I don't care how anointed they say they are, but every time they speak, you leave demoralized, discouraged, worn down, beat down, crushed. There is nothing that uplifts, there's nothing that nourishes, there is nothing that encourages. Their words always leaves you in turmoil, in fear, in an anxious state. That is not somebody you should be listening to. I don't care if it's your father, your mother, your pastor, your whoever. Anybody who doesn't have words that encourage, uplifts, and nourishes you is not somebody you need to be listening to. I don't know what they are doing in your life. If it's someone you cannot cut off, then learn to start tuning them out. Because words can't kill a person, can leave you depressed, can stunt your growth, can stunt your future. You know those kinds of people who you share a vision with them. Oh, I'm thinking about doing this, and they have nothing but negativity for you. Oh, I know somebody who tried it and it didn't work out. Or you can't do this. Or wow, you think you're all that. Or thousands of people have tried the field. What makes you think you're so special? You're not supposed to share your vision with everyone, especially if you're surrounded by people who are vision killers, who will kill your vision while it's still a seed. Because vision starts as seeds within us, and then the actions we take and the prayers we pray kind of serve as water and nourishment, and the goal is always that it will yield fruits and be successful. But there are people who just with the words they speak will kill the little seed. It will not grow, it will not germinate, because they've discouraged you so much. So be very careful about the people around you, about the words you speak, and about the words you allow to be spoken with you. So there's a question here: do you make an effort to speak encouraging words to the people around you? Because the more difficult our lives are, the more encouragement we need. So the book is filled with such wonderful advice. I mean, I could go on, and I think actually I will do a couple of videos, I think, from some of the chapters, because it's just filled with such good stuff. Again, it's by Joyce Meyer. The title is In Search of Wisdom. From the tone of my voice, you should know I obviously recommend it, and I would love us to go through some of the chapters together. So I'm definitely going to do do a couple more videos on some of the other chapters. So I hope you read it. They have a Kindle version. As always, I'm going to have an Amazon link below to go get it. Plus I also have a written review up on my blog. It is a beautiful read, so if you do get a chance to read it, let me know how you enjoyed it, and if you have any other books you would love me to review, Christian books, mostly non-fiction, but if there is a good fiction one, I would love to read that as well. But if there are any other books you would love me to take a look at and review, feel free to let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share it, and don't forget to buy and read the book. As always, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I wish you absolutely nothing but the very best. Remain blessed.